Hey guys, it's Allie Kochert here. Again, I saw you last Monday for those who caught my my live on dreams. Give me a thumbs up if you were here. And I'm pretty excited today to kind of do a little bit of teaching on the Enneagram. So we'll go ahead and start. Looks like a few people are here. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I'd love this to be a little more interactive. If you do have comments, please go ahead and comment below. I'm getting set up on my computer so I can see them. All right. So for the folks of you who are here, I'd love to know whether or not you guys do know about the Enneagram. It is a passion of mine to teach about it. As a therapist and spiritual director, I really love the Enneagram and its ability to use personality and our innate inner wisdom to be able to move into transformation, move into growth on a core personality level. Historically, personality inventories are known to be a little bit more static. So if you know the Myers-Briggs, hey guys, hi Leandra and Sammy, welcome. And generally, personality inventories tend to be more static in that you're sort of born with what you got, and that's what you got. You know, I'm an introvert for life, I'm an extrovert for life, that kind of thing. So, sorry, I'm on my phone. I'm going to silence that. And I think what the Enneagram offers us, those who are seekers and those of us who desire to know more about our innate drives that are based often in childhood and the way we grew up, and how to kind of use both positive and negative parts of our personality so that we can move into growth and trust ourselves into a place of transformation. Hi, everyone. Go ahead and type below. I can see your comments if you have any questions. I can't say that I am an expert of, even though I do teach on the Enneagram. So feel free to send me any questions. I'll do my best. Today I'm just going to go through the Enneagram in general. So there are you may have, if you're brand new to it, you may not have seen this diagram before. I'm going through my packet that I teach on. It's going to be backwards. Yes, it is. So this is the Enneagram. There are 9 quote-unquote types that you lead from, and it starts on the top as the 9, and then it goes down 1 through 8 to 9. So there are 9 essential types of the Enneagram. Sammy asks, what does it mean, or how do you find out a wing number? So I can touch on wing numbers after I share a little bit about the Enneagram numbers first. So then there's 9 general types that we kind of lead from, and I like to identify the 3 triads. So we have on the top of the Enneagram, the 1, 9, and 8s are known as the gut triad and the anger triad. Okay, and 1 or 2, 3, and 4 are known as the shame triad or the feeling center. And then the fear triad is the other triad. That's the thinking center. Those are the 5, 6, 7s. And they lead from a sense of fear. So why that's important when you're learning about the Enneagram, you're kind of trying to figure out, what number do I lead from? Usually those, if you kind of can narrow it down to those 3 head, heart, and body types, that instinctive center, whether or not you lead from feelings, whether or not you lead from your head, that can kind of narrow you down into what center, which one of those you can kind of identify with. So once you kind of get an idea of, okay, I know when I know something, I know it up here. Like I can see it, it's up here. People know that I'm a thinker at heart. Like I am someone that just is very rational. When I make decisions, they come from a sort of putting things in their places in a rational kind of way. That's a thinker type. And for feelers are 2, 3, 4s. Those are people who would say, I feel things on a deep level. They are the ones where they lead generally from a sense of really a deep knowing of their feelings. The instinctive center is the top of the Enneagram, the 8, 9s, 1s. Those are the folks that are much more would say that I know things on a gut level. Like I know it on a physicality. My body reacts, and also when I am triggered, I'm called to action. That is where their feelings and thoughts come secondary after their physicality of that. So that may help for those of you who are brand new to the Enneagram, or like thinking about what number am I and that kind of thing. So the gut triad, I'm going to really run through quickly here because we only have 20 minutes, but it gives you a tiny little of an idea of the inner voices of the different numbers. So we have 8s. 8's inner self-talk. I need to feel powerful, strong, and have control. I control by avoiding vulnerability, making an impact, and overcoming inevitable obstacles that stand in my way. So 8s tend to be these powerful challenger types. They're the ones that are, they know things on a gut level, they're justice focused, and they move forward in life with a sense of powerful, both physicality as well as emotionally. 9s, they are the ones that dismiss their anger. So even though they're on the anger triad, they're the ones that tamp it down. They deny their anger in a way, and they need to feel comfortable and peaceful. And their inner talk is, I control by going along to get along and minimizing my own needs to maintain harmony and balance. So their minimization of their needs is all about their inner harmony. It's not about taking care of others, but rather, I just need to kind of take a step back. It's too much for me to engage in that anger and that irritability and that kind of, so they tend to be they're the peacemakers, but it comes from a sense of needing to detach from potential conflict. And 1s on the top of the Enneagram, the gut triad there, the anger triad, their self-talk is, I need to be correct and good. So they control their anger. They put in boxes. So I control my anger by holding high standards for myself and others and avoiding risks in order to maintain order and responsibility. So these folks, again, are very motivated for perfectionists. So these are the perfectionists of the Enneagram. So moving over to the feeling triad, 2s, they attempt to control shame. Shame is a part of the feeling triad by getting people to like them and think them as good people. So their inner self-talk, I need to be needed and indispensable to others. And I forget my own needs and resent others when I don't feel appreciated. So they get a sense of needing to, give. They're the givers of the Enneagram. They're very effusive in their feelings, and they want to attach to other people in general in order to feel like they are needed. So their inner sense of need is what the key is there for 2s. 3s, they deny their shame. They're just like 9s tamp down their anger, 3s tamp down their shame. Their inner self-talk, I need to be successful and seen as ahead of the game. I work hard to be the best. So these folks are the ones that they are the ones that are out there in the world, and they want to make their presence known, and pretty much everyone in their life knows that. I work hard to be the best and confuse my image as a winner with who I really am inside, so that they feel like they need to project an image of productivity, of gaining a sense of like that the world is receptive of what they give in order to feel like they're okay. So, and then 4s, they attempt to control their shame by their inner self-talk of being unique and special. So they have the inner monologue of, I put my own distance and uncommon touch to what I say and do. I resist being ordinary. So these folks are really the ones, they're the deep feelers of the Enneagram, where they are internalizing feeling wise and what's going on in the world, and they convert that to I'm special, and the world must see me as special and separate. Finally, the thinking triad or the fear triad, the 5, 6, 7s. 5s, they fear about the outer world, and that they can't cope with it. And the way they deal with that is really getting up into their head. They're the way up here, and they detach with data, with thinking, with concrete examples. These folks are up in their head so that they know how to react to uncertainty and their own fear. They're easily overwhelmed by emotion and feeling, and their self-talk as I have to step back in order to analyze and observe and control the situation, or control the feelings and control that. So the 5s tend to be more withdrawn. 6s, they attempt to control fear by constantly looking for something outside of themselves. So these are the loyalists of the Enneagram. They tend to be the ones that are active in committees, and they tend to be very externalized in their fear. Their inner self-talk, I need to feel secure with a person, group, or authority figure, or a philosophy or tradition. I may test, challenge, or question the system or authority figure, even though I'm on board with it. So they tend to be back and forth with that. I'm both loyal and skeptical. 7s, they fear their inner world. They control this by seeking novelty. So these 7s are the ones that jump back and forth. They're the epicures of the Enneagram. They're sort of always jumping about. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And they have an inner self-talk. I need to feel stimulated and curious and excited about the next thing, because the darkness overwhelms me, because fear overwhelms me. It's too much. So here I am moving outside myself. I look the least afraid, of anyone in the Enneagram. The 7s tend to be look like the least afraid of the fear types, but it seems that fear actually is that's driving the adventuresome spirit and all that it does. So Sammy was asking about what it means, what does it mean, or how do you find out what a wing number is? So the wings of an Enneagram are so if you are centered on a certain number, and I apologize, this is backwards, but we got to do here, guys. So this is an example of a 9 wing 1 and a 9 wing 8. So each number is nestled up in the Enneagram next to different numbers, okay? And those are the wings. So before you know what your wing is, you have to know what number you're leading from. So that's the first step in learning about the Enneagram for yourself, is what number do I lead from? Secondly, what if either of these wings inform you in your personality and inform you in your drives for interacting in the world. So a 9-wing 8 and a 9-wing 1, which is how we describe our wings. A 9-wing 1 and a 9-wing 8 act differently in the world, and they would act differently than a 9 without. That doesn't really have a strong wing. So not everyone on the Enneagram has a strong wing. Some have very strong wings. Some have no wing. In general, it's taught by the Enneagram masters that you can kind of move over time slightly to either wing, that you have those wings accessible to you more so than, say, down here a 5 would in that way. So, or the numbers that are not nestled up next to you. Does that make sense, Sammy? If so, give me a thumbs up or ask more questions, please. I love the questions. Keep them coming. So I'm going to just say, so a 9-wing 8, this is an example. For instance, I was saying how they'd be different. So a 9-wing 8, what they would, they are, so a 9 again is the peacemaker on the top of the Enneagram. They're the ones that are withdrawing in themselves, and awesome, Sammy, and that they tend to deny their urges and tend to merge with others and don't connect as much to what their inner self is. 8s, on the other hand, they're the challengers of the Enneagram, and they're very connected to their anger, and they're very connected to their drives. So for a 9 to have an 8 wing, they would actually incorporate some of that energy into their 9-ness. All right, so they would have more access to their anger than, say, a 9 with a 1 wing. They would have a spirit, maybe even a switch, like some 9-wing 1s or 9-wing 8s may say, or have heard say, it switches, and all of a sudden I'm this mama bear. I'm this embodied angry, righteous anger, of peacemaking. So there's the innate peacemaker part of that 9-ness, but also incorporated into that 8. So that's just one example. There's all the other examples of the Enneagram wings on there. That can be very informative. There's tons of different ways of learning about the Enneagram. Keep asking questions, guys, if you have any. I have about 5 minutes left here. I always say that taking tests in general, taking a test on the Enneagram, isn't the best way to learning about your number. If you're brand new to the Enneagram, start by reading books on the Enneagram. Start by listening to podcasts. There's some really great ones, and I'll put some links below. How about that after I'm done here, on sort of places to start. In general, what's different about the Enneagram, I touched on it really tiny bit in the beginning here, is that the Enneagram is about uncovering innate drives or motivations. It's not about behavior. So when you take a test, you're reading, I act this way, or when I'm feeling anxious, I act this way. It's more concrete in behavior, whereas the Enneagram's really about, like I was saying, that inner self-talk, those inner motivations. And that is what's sometimes challenging with finding your finding your number is if you take a test or you skim all the different numbers and don't do the work to uncover your inner motivation, you can mistype yourself. And that's not the worst thing in the world. It's part of learning the Enneagram. A lot of us have mistyped ourselves for a while. One thing I do say often when I teach it is put on, if you do feel like, okay, I'm either this or this and I'm having a hard time, you know what? Put a hat on. Like you say, I don't know if I'm a 2 or a 3. Okay, you know what? Put a 2 hat on for a while and live like you are a 2 and see, just start witnessing yourself. Start understanding like where your motivations are here. Is it really coming from a sense of needing to help on that level of I don't feel right if I don't help other people? Or is it coming from a place, which would be a 2? Or is it coming more from a motivation place of I want to feel like I'm productive and that people are noticing me for being good and productive in that way? So, which is more of a 3. So again, there's some great books out there that kind of help you have that dialogue starting in your head when it comes to how to interact and how to start using the Enneagram as an invitation to growth, an invitation to move forward with your inner self and your inner self-talk. So those are just tiny little introductory comments about the Enneagram. It is a transformational, it can be very transformational for people. I love using it in the coaching that I do and the counseling that I do, the spiritual direction that I do. So you'd love to know more. If you ever want to work with me, feel free to shoot me an email and check out my website, alliekochert.com. Any other questions? I see there's several folks still here. Or comments. Thumbs up if you kind of got what you needed today in this. All right. Again, shoot me an email if you have any questions or comments. And in the future, if you do want to, actually, one thing, I do teach the Enneagram and I do provide workshops on it. So if you are a part of an organization that would benefit from that, I'd love to hear from you, and I can come to your organization or even do a Zoom presentation that's much more thorough than this tiny little intro. And because the Enneagram can be really helpful in, it has to be if you're in relationships and in work, because if you're doing your own self-work, it's going to impact your relationships and your work. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. If there's no other questions, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.